Hey there everybody, hope you're doing well. I decided to do this video because a couple of days ago I came out to this very same spot and it had just been raining and the rain quit, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna go try to test out my skills with the Ferro rod and create some sparks and see if I can do some feather sticking and make a fire. I didn't make any video of it because I was just practicing. I did make a post to Instagram and I believe Facebook as well, but it kind of got me to thinking that maybe I should do a video on that. Now there are some benefits to using a ferrocerium rod versus just a Bic lighter or another fire starter like matches. One, this doesn't have to be waterproof, right? So there's a little creek behind me. I could take this, I can swish it in the water, see? Dripping with water, and a couple of strikes and you're throwing sparks. So this can get wet and you don't have to worry about it as long as you can keep up with it and a strong, back of your knife or a 90-degree blade that you can push some sparks off with. But you have to create the right type of situation in your fuel that will accept a spark. You can't just stick this up to a stick and start catching that on fire. So you have to prepare things, and that's kind of the trick to using one of these. So first off, we're going to go find a piece of dead standing wood. Nothing that's been in contact with the ground where it would have soaked up moisture. Something that is off of the ground but dead. And so let's go see if I can find something for us to use. So as you can see out here, there's no shortage of resources. There's plenty of deadfall, plenty of trees down and limbs down. This is one here that has fallen on the other side of this creek. Yeah, I think this might work. I mean, some of the outer bark is really rotted, but we're not going to use that part, and this part is really wet, but that's okay. And this is the cool thing about this feather sticking technique, is that you can use a piece of damp wood like this because the inside of the wood is what's going to be dry. Okay, so as you can see, this is kind of rotted in the middle. The rest of it around it is still nice and hard, and it kind of broke there as well. I think this piece is still going to work for us. It's a little bit big around. You don't have to get a piece that big, but the thicker the piece like this, you're kind of ensuring that the middle of the wood, which you're going to work with, is much more dry. As you get to the outside where it's rotted, we're going to get rid of all this stuff. So I'm going to use this piece. I would say this is about 1 foot long. So what we're going to do now with this piece of wood is we're going to quarter it. So in other words, we're going to split it in half twice, and we're going to do that by batoning. So we've cut that in half. Now let's cut the two halves in half. And if it falls to the side, that's fine. Just try not to let it fall in the creek or get too wet. I'm going to try to keep this as dry as possible. I'm quartering it so that I can get to the interior of the wood as easily as possible. And the interior of the wood, although the exterior is kind of rotted and nasty and wet, the interior, as you can see, is really dry, and that's the piece we want to work with. I'm a little concerned about the rot there in the middle, but I think we can deal with that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a feather stick, and I like using the kind of pointed edge here to start to whittle that down. Now what we can do, I'm going to shave just a little bit of this away, and you should keep all of these little shavings that are popping off. If some of this pops off, set it off to the side where you can keep it dry, and you can use it as that first stage fuel once you get things going. So I'm working off of this piece here. Now what you're going to do is just very lightly start pretty flat with your knife, and then gradually, as you take strokes, gradually start to increase the angle. But don't do it too fast. Gradually increase it, and you're going to create these really fine curls right there. And you'll find just the sweet spot. And every once in a while you might dig too deep and get kind of a big one, and that's okay. and go slow. I've seen people do this fast, and I think as you get experience, you can do this a lot faster, and that's totally cool. But don't be afraid to take it nice and slow. And I try to work a good bit around the piece of wood. As I'm shaving, I'm also rotating slightly. So you get a few curls here, you rotate it a little, you do some more, you rotate it back, and you're just kind of working over that edge. And there's some of that rot area, which I can just try to cut that out. Yeah, that came out, no problem. I'll just discard that. And now we're working with nothing but nice dry wood. And you want to create quite a few of these. I feel pretty good about this. That's a pretty decent looking bundle of curls there. It's very possible that I could send sparks into this just as it is, and it might take the spark. The really fine curls might grab a spark and create the flame that you need. But I do not have a lot of luck with that. So I go one extra step and create what I call kind of like wood lint or shavings to sprinkle inside of that. And I'll show you how I do that. To create the shavings that we need, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another piece that we quartered, and I'm going to cut kind of the rot out of it. But I like the edge, so I'm not going to cut a lot of that edge off. Now, taking the back side, the spine of your knife, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to rub it. Put good pressure and rub it. And what you're going to do is you're going to create little, I call it wood lint or shavings. And essentially, these little pieces right here, that's what you're going for. I'm going to try another piece too. I think this one's got a nice, good angle on it here. Alright, and you know, some of it comes off, some of it doesn't. But if you get a piece like this, just pick it off. Actually, I'm going to be careful. I'm working over my leg here, but I do have the blade up, so away from my knee, and I'm not worried about cutting myself. That's going to allow me to do is it's actually my jeans are catching some of the shavings instead of them hitting the ground. You could also work over a rag or a hat or a shamag if you have one. So there's some shavings there on my jeans. Just kind of push them into a pile, grab those up, and then sprinkle those into the curls. I've got my shavings kind of sprinkled in to the curls. And now comes the part where you use the ferrocerium rod. So what I do to control this is you'll lay the ferrocerium rod on your board and put your thumb on top of it to pinch it down, and go ahead and push that edge right on up into those shavings, right at the bottom of the curls there, and pinch it like that. And then you're going to use your knife across the top. Alright, once you're ready, everything's secure, take controlled strokes here with the back of your knife. Okay, I saw a flame, but it was on the tip here. I am going to let it burn and hope that it catches. I had a feeling that was going to extinguish, and that's okay. What we want is some of those shavings to catch. Okay, almost. Okay, I've got a little flame. Turn it up like that and let the curls catch. There we go. Now, of course, you could set this down, and you could set your other tinder and fuel right on top of that. Alright, that's how you do it. I'm going to toss this in the water. I hope this video is helpful to you. You know, get out there and give it a practice on your own. I think the more you do it, the much more proficient you'll get at it. So Happy practicing. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you on the next video.